This is going to be a really powerful interview with Carles Esquerda. And the last time we had him on was back in April of 2010. He is the director of the Alcyon Association. And in this interview, he's going to share with us some information which is going to be how close Planet X, or what they call Hercules, will be with the Earth during the flyby. And you're going to hear that later on in the show, but you're also going to hear equally important information about the awareness that is growing around this, not only here in the United States or in the English-speaking countries that we reach out to, but all around the world. And I think you are going to find that fascinating. Plus, we're also going to talk about extraterrestrials coming in to help us and what we would need to do in order to encourage them to help us, and also a pole shift. I think you're going to find that his view of what's coming is actually a bit more severe than my own, and it is very, very powerful. And this is why you also need to be prepared. So along the way, we are going to talk about getting your Planet X Kung Fu. That's right. That's what I call it, Planet X Kung Fu, to help you survive, because we're going to have a lot of nasty bugs to deal with. I also want to take a few moments to speak with those of you who are in awareness. You're having dreams, visions, and premonitions. And you're in a situation that's not necessarily safe. Perhaps you're living along a coastline. And you're getting that message not only from me, from a lot of other people as well. But what I want to share with you is the magical things that can start to happen when you do that. So let's get into it with Carles Esquerda.
Get a job, pay your taxes, pay your dues. You can live any way that you want to, as long as you don't break any of their rules.
This is Marshall Masters, and I'm on with Carles. I got a chance to look at your new video, Hercules, the Red Planet Approaches Again. And as I'm watching this thing, Carles, I am just going, oh yeah, oh yes, yeah, just like that. I'm loving it. I am loving it. And the fact that these three men were interviewed in the late 90s saying these things just dropped me on my head. And so I am just delighted to have you back on. It has been, last time was in 2010. It's been a while, so hey, hombre, mi casa, su casa, welcome back.
Thank you. Thank you. Glad to be here.
Oh, excellent. I am so glad you're here. And so, first off, for my listeners out there, give us a quick explanation and lowdown, and also talk about your free book that you're offering to the public.
Yes, well, we've got the book in several languages. We've got the book Hercules or Red Planet. First, the original was in Spanish, but was quickly translated to the main languages in the world. Mm-hmm. And we are now from Spain and also from other places, South America and Australia, distributing it to anyone who requests it. And it's sent for free. Free book, free packaging, free postage. It's actually a paper book. I mean, it's a hard copy.
I got to ask you, because I'm sure somebody out there is going to be going, where did they get the money to give these books away for free?
Yeah, that's an important question. We are 40 people organized Alcyon Association, mm-hmm. And all of us, we have our usual, everyday work, and we pay for all the expenses. Okay, we support all the expenses that these tasks involves. So we pay for the books, for the printing, we pay for the postage and all that, without receiving any aid or grant or whatsoever from anyone. There are some people who help us voluntarily. All is a voluntary work. Mm-hmm. Non-profit work. So it's amazing what can be done from a group of people who are eager to to carry out a task and who know that this task is useful. So everything comes from our own work. I mean, normal work. No, there's nothing special.
I'll tell you what, in terms of the Spanish language, I think that this would be the only way to get the message out is by doing it for free like this, because what I can tell you is that I've been approached by large publishing houses in South America and for the Spanish market. And they got a copy of the book, and they all had to come back and say, "We're sorry, we can't take it on. We're very interested." And it always came back to the same thing. They were terribly afraid of offending the church.
Mm-hmm.
So the fact that you guys are giving this book away in different languages, particularly in Spanish and these other major languages, I think that's the only way it could get out there and circumvent the church.
That fact, in general, distributors don't pay much attention to these kinds of books.
Mm-hmm.
In the beginning, they do, but soon they just, they put it the back shelf and in a spot where it can be easily seen.
Mm-hmm.
It's difficult also that they promote it as we are doing. We're promoting it in internet through several websites, I will tell them. And that type of promotion, it gives us a lot of results. And this is something a distributor is not going to do. So we, after some years of having the book published by several publishers worldwide, we decided that the best way to make that message or that information known was to give it for free through our own efforts. I mean, in that way, we've published around 1 million books.
Wow.
Already. So it would have been unthinkable the other way. So we're happy with that those results, and people are also giving us a very good feedback, and they're contacting us and thanking for that effort and that task. And so we are continuing because of the results. I mean, that's the main thing that keeps pushing us ahead.
Wow. Well, then let's do this. Let's get right into it, because first off, everyone, the video is going to be on the Cut to the Chase page so that you can watch that, and it's in the native tongue. You're going to have subtitles. It's a very well-produced video. First off, let's talk about Hercules, as you call it. We call it Nibiru, or Planet X.
Yeah.
And then let's talk about the three men who are in this video. Master Rabolu, who actually wrote the book that you're distributing, and then Master Samael and the Chilean astronomer Carles Farada.
That's right. Yeah, there were three people in Latin America who studied the phenomena of Planet X, or Hercolubus. They used to call it Hercolubus.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so the first one who started to talk was Master Samael. And he already predicted early in the 70s already that a big planet was coming. And that was a phenomena that was cyclic, that happened in the Atlantean continent as well.
Mm-hmm.
And he was the responsible for the Atlantean catastrophe. And he was already telling that this planet was about to come again and make great changes, produce great changes in our world. He never set a date, and none of the three persons that are talking about the Columbus in that video never set a date, never set a time, because they were aware that there is a margin of flexibility in all these cosmic phenomena.
Right.
And that it also depends on what our humanity does or perform. So they never set a date. That's the main thing. So we never mixed those predictions with the 2000 or 2012 dates that were being published around. So that's one of the things that for us as well, it's a very meaningful thing, that it's not doomsday prophecy that's gonna, get obsolete. But it's something that has been consistent. Their definitions, their explanations have been consistent since they were for them discovered. So Samael was talking already about that planet. Rabulu, again, he started to talk about this. He collaborated with Samael, so they coincided as well in their predictions.
Mm-hmm.
He said that the planet was around 5 or 6 times bigger than Jupiter. It has a very long elliptical orbit, belonged to a different solar system, but was coming to our solar system periodically, and that was about to happen in the next years to come. So that proximity, the Hercolobus proximity, was going to bring about great geological, climatic, and also human changes.
Mm-hmm.
On the one hand, there would be great increase in volcanic eruptions, earthquakes, tidal waves, and Master Blue was warning people, get away from coastal areas, get away from the sea, get away from river beds also, because those are going to be unsafe places, definitely unsafe.
Absolutely. By the way, as you're getting into it, earlier you mentioned that they attributed the sinking of Atlantis to a flyby of Hercules.
They did, yeah.
And just so that you know, Greg Jenner, he's the author of Planet X and the Colburn Bible Connection. In there, he documents that it also came from the ancient Egyptians who penned the first part of the Colburn Bible, that it had in fact caused the sinking of Atlantis. And so you are corroborated.
Yeah, those researchers, Samuel Rabulu, they corroborated that from as well from the beginning. So they, and also they were saying that the planet would bring about great imbalance in the human nature.
Yes, and we're going to get into that later on.
Yeah.
I definitely want to get more into what the object is going to do during the flyby, but then also how it is currently affecting humankind and what that's going to be in the future. But one of the things I found interesting, because the Chilean astronomer, Farada, he didn't study under Master Rabulu.
No.
He was a contemporary. He was going along a parallel track.
Yeah, he was.
Tell me more about Farada and what brought him to this and got him engaged.
Yeah, Farada was a very bright researcher. He was born in 1909, and from early age he was very interested in researching about seismology, about astronomy as well. He predicted some earthquakes in Chile, actually, and he was very accurate in his predictions.
Really? Give us an example of a few of his predictions. I mean, I know that Chile just got hit with another big one, and thankfully the death toll was much less than previous events. But give us an idea of things that he predicted and came to pass. Yeah,
I think it was in the, I'm not sure, it was in the 1985 earthquake. He was saying, he was saying that there's going to be an earthquake. He went out of his house and was sleeping in his backyard, right, in a tent. And some people, even some scientists, they were laughing at him, but he was very accurate in his predictions. Some days later of his going out of a great earthquake in 1988 occurred. So that was one of his predictions, and he was famous for that. Actually, he was known for those predictions in Chile.
Wow!
And he was very good. He was also a sailor, and he had a very good knowledge of stars and constellations. And He was a member of several astronomical societies, and director also in an astronomical observatory in Panama. So he was quite knowledgeable in that. So he's for us is also a very, very solid source of knowledge to support the Hercolobus message of Hercolobus warning. He coincided as well with Samael and Master Rabulu in the size of the planet. He said it would be much bigger, several times bigger than Jupiter.
Well, now this is an interesting point. Now I want to pick up on that. Today, what we're actually tracking is a brown dwarf, and so Farada is actually a lot closer to this than anyone else of that time. But let's get into it in the next segment, shall we?
Yeah.
We'll get back to Carles in just a moment, but first I want to talk briefly about Yowza.com and how you can get your Planet X Kung Fu. The mission for Yowza.com is to help those who care enough to make it through the difficult times ahead. And for those of you who care enough to make a difference, please support our efforts by becoming a Yowza.com subscriber. You'll get access on all of our cut-to-the-chase shows going back to when we first started in 2004. You might find it interesting that right now we're seeing bison leaving Yellowstone, and that was the topic of our very first interview in 2004 with Jim Birkeland. And it really set the pace for the show. It's always been about survival, so the information's not dated. So please check out our subscription plans and see which one is a good fit for you. And now I'd like to talk with you about getting your Planet X Kung Fu, as I call it. If you get a chance to visit one of Carl's sites, The Final Prophecy, and they've got a video there that's very good, and in that video, what they're really talking about with this flyby is that it is going to unleash a horde of new viruses on us that we can't imagine. Now, this is the reason why the universe really led me to Donjon breathing. I just wanted to solve a situation that I had with my irritable bowel syndrome, and it worked just fine for that. But the real secret of Donjon breathing is that it is a frontline defense against these viruses. Now, here's the reason why. If you go and do yoga, you are going to oxygenate your body. You're going to get it up to a level of about 103%. However, with Donjon breathing, you're going to use just a fraction of the same amount of energy you would expend doing yoga, and in the process, you will boost your oxygen levels to 107%, which means your immune system is going to be much, much stronger. Now, what I really like about it is it is calorie efficient. Today we count calories because we don't want to get fat. In the future, you're going to be counting calories so that you can stay alive. And so a lot of the things we do for exercise today will be unnecessary, if not unwise, because they're going to cost us more calories than they're going to give us in return. Donjon breathing is virtually calorie neutral, and it's because you use visualization and focus along with movement. And the movement is really kind of like a non-invasive self-acupuncture. What you're doing is you're moving your body in a way to open up the channels in your body so that oxygen and energy, or if you study yoga, it's called prana, you want that to move through your body, and that's what really happens. And then with Donjon breathing, you create a reservoir of this energy. It doesn't fritter away real fast. So if you're in a sick bed, you're going to have the full benefit of the Donjon breathing for as much as 2 weeks. And here's the best part. The most critical poses can be done in a sick bed. But I think in the long term, one of the most incredible benefits of Donjon breathing is what I call Planet X Kung Fu. You ever heard the term gut instinct? Well, that's what this really is all about. If you just keep doing your Donjon breathing 20 minutes each day, After a period of months, usually about 4 to 6 months, you're going to notice that your thinking is going to become simpler because a lot of things that you're dealing with just go to gut instinct. You've developed that capability. The result is that you are going to see things seconds before anyone else will. And you're going to be able to understand what you're seeing seconds before anyone else will be able to figure it out because their minds are going to be cluttered. Whereas with you, you're thinking, your survival process, you're using your gut instinct, which is now enhanced from the Danjan breathing, and your mind, which is uncluttered from all of this extraneous processing. So you're going to be able to see something happening before other people do. You're going to be able to formulate a plan on how to deal with that before other people do. And you will be taking action and moving to safety while everyone's going, whoa, are you seeing what I'm seeing? So please, learn more about Danjan breathing today. Visit our website at feelbetteronYourOwn.com. That's feelbetteronYourOwn.com. And remember, once all we have left of modern medicine is sewing needles and dental floss, you'll have Danjan breathing, and it'll get you through. And now, let's get back to Carles. Back with Carles, and I think let's have a good show of difference between the two men, Master Rabulu and Carlos Farada, the Chilean astronomer, because from what I gather, Master Rabulu is a researcher, but he came at this where astronomy was one element of what he was doing, whereas for Farada, he was a professional astronomer. And so first off, give us a brief overview of what Master Rabulu and Master Samael, who collaborated with him, believed Hercules to be, how they described it.
Okay, yeah, they described it as a big planet coming towards Earth, and they described it as something necessary to happen to change our era.
Mm-hmm.
They were talking that we were at the end of an era. Doesn't mean at the end of the earth, the end of the world, but the end of an era. And the big changes that were going to happen were actually for the sake of humanity, in order for a new civilization, a new society to spring, to begin.
My motto is, if the meek do not inherit the earth, the psychopaths will. I agree with this completely. I mean, we need some way to wipe the slate clean, and about the only way that's going to break us free of the stranglehold that the elites have on us is going to be a flyby. So I absolutely agree with that.
So according to them, it was necessary for us to happen.
Mm-hmm.
But there was always a escape or a way out, and that was for us, for humanity, for people to start changing, but changing in a deep way, not changing through intentions only or through theories.
Mm-hmm.
They were very practical. They were actually esotericists, what we call in Spanish esotericists, studying deeply the human psychology, human behavior.
Mm-hmm.
Also, all the possibilities or the faculties that the mankind can develop or could develop if taught or if they were willing to do that. So, along with their scientific explanations, they were teaching people. They were explaining about also dimension or superior dimension as well, how to access, how to get there,
Mm-hmm.
and also how to awaken our hidden or slept faculties, as faculties we are not using.
Mm-hmm.
common people, we are not using that. So we're teaching how to use them in a very practical and easy way, and openly to anyone. I mean, doing like a humanitarian task, we could call it.
Mm-hmm.
Because for them, the most important thing was that we humans are blind. We are under our possibilities, and under all we could attain or get is before us, but we're not getting it. So the change of civilization they were saying was going to happen was for a new humanity, a more awakened, more, let's say, spiritual, okay, connected with higher dimensions,
Mm-hmm.
other humanities in other planets as well.
Mm-hmm.
So that was the main reason. We're going towards the wrong direction. Definitely, we're going downwards, quickly downwards, and Hercule for them was necessary for that, just for that. I mean, same that happened with Atlantis. That in the end it was a downward civilization, so it was needed for them to change.
Mm-hmm.
And their main message, their main teaching is that we humans are all capable of doing what we decide to do.
Mm-hmm.
And awakening for them was the main reason for in our life. We should pursue awakening. Knowledge and awakening. I mean, knowledge is got when we awaken, and if we get knowledge as well, we fight for our awakening. So it's both they fit each other.
I call it coming into awareness.
Yeah.
Because that's what's happening. I mean, we're seeing it here. We're seeing people coming into awareness in America. In terms of a percentage of the population, it's a small percentage, probably 1% or less. And because you guys are communicating with people in the Spanish-speaking world, outside the English language, are you seeing a similar thing where it is a small percentage, but it is growing?
It is a small percentage, and it is growing, you're right. Because we are sending books all over the world.
Mm-hmm.
We're getting replies or comments or feedback from all type of countries. That's the most amazing. That's something I've been learning with in our task as well.
Mm-hmm.
Because we sometimes think that some countries may not be, interested. People may not be interested in those topics because of, maybe they've got other problems, bigger problems actually. I mean,
right.
Subsistence or health or whatever, or economy. But it's amazing that everywhere in the world there's a eagerness to know, there's a eagerness to awake, there's an awareness growing. And that's also for us very important, because it means that we not only we have to spread this knowledge in Spanish-speaking countries or English-speaking countries,
mm-hmm.
but in the heart of Africa or the heart of Asia or wherever the book can be.
Well, let me ask you, because you've shipped 1 million copies of this book. Let's go continent by continent, and you give me a summary of what you're seeing. So let's start with the North American continent, and then let's go to South America.
Well, there's a big difference. You can say that maybe the South American countries are a bit more aware of all those topics.
Really?
Yes.
So you're finding in South America there's more interest than in North America?
We are finding that, yes.
All right.
Although there is interest. There is interest in North America.
Right. What about Central America?
Well, it's not as much as in South America.
Okay, so South America is really strong.
Mexico is strong as well.
In South America, what would be the largest interest country?
Brazil, maybe.
Brazil? Okay. Now, let's move over to Europe.
Well, in Europe it's quite spread.
Mm-hmm.
No big difference. France, Germany, Italy, Spain, quite interested.
All right, and let's talk about Middle East and Africa.
Well, Africa is growing interest in Central Africa, let's say,
mm-hmm.
French-speaking countries, also Nigeria.
Mm-hmm.
growing in the Arab North African countries,
Mm-hmm.
and also South Africa as well. It's not bad.
All right. By the way, out of curiosity, do you see interest in the topic in Israel?
Well, some requests as well, some interest. Yes, it is.
Let's move now to east of that. Let's talk about Russia.
Russia, there's a very, very strong interest, actually.
Okay.
Especially in because our book as well, the book Columbus of Her Planet, has a part on alien or UFO or extraterrestrial civilization. The Russians are very keen on that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and I mean also for the Nibiru topic, they're quite aware.
Wow.
So it's a good country. I mean, for us, the pity is we don't know the Russian language. We can't.
Mm-hmm.
We've got the book in Russian. We've got some of the websites translated, but it's more difficult for us to get there and to interact with people because of their language. But there's some of them they speak, they can write in English as well.
What about China and the South Pacific?
China is you can't get there. I mean, we are promoting mainly through internet. It's very difficult.
Very difficult.
But
Is the Chinese government suppressing it?
I believe so. Yeah.
Okay, so the Chinese government is putting a lid on it. Gee, that doesn't surprise me, you know. But what about in, Southeast Asia, Australia, and those areas?
India is very good. Indonesia is quite good.
Mm-hmm.
Indonesia, a lot of interest.
All right.
India as well. Yeah, India, Vietnam, some interest as well. Japan is a bit difficult, but also there's a lot of people there. And in Australia as well, we're getting some requests and feedback as well. It's quite spread, even Pacific Islands as well, some small islands.
Mm-hmm.
It's quite spread, although there are some places which are more sensible to that.
So you're seeing this as the interest in this and the awareness in this is a global phenomenon.
It is, yeah, definitely.
That's excellent. But now I want to take just a moment to talk about Carles Farada, the Chilean astronomer. His view of this is that he says it's 5 times larger than the object Hercules, 5 times larger than is stated by Master Rabuo. How did Farada come to this conclusion?
Well, I don't know exactly. I mean, he was an astronomer. I'm not an astronomer, but he got, I think, all the information from astronomical observatories. He was a scientist,
Mm-hmm.
so he tracked and recorded, or in some way, the radiation from that heavenly body.
Mm-hmm.
And so he even said that that body, Columbus, was not fulfilling the physical laws, I mean, the conventional laws of stars or planets.
Mm-hmm.
That he would come to our solar system around 14 million kilometers, he said, from the Earth. So he was quite accurate.
So he said that let me get this straight. This is an important, what he says is during the flyby, Hercules, or Planet X, is going to come within 14 million kilometers of the Earth.
Yeah, that's what he said, yeah.
Wow.
And he said it was a comet planet. He calls it a comet planet because it's got a tail.
It does have a tail. And, back in the late 90s, there really wasn't a lot out there in terms of brown dwarfs. I mean, this is fairly recent in terms of astronomy. And so he really, based on the prevailing thought of the day, he really nailed it, has a tail. And I will tell you, there's a group called 00 Skyview. Plus, we've had numerous disclosure videos. Every time it is shown, it is a brown dwarf. It is a red planet, as you call it, or a red object, and it has a tail. And it is massive. But the fact that now you are saying it is 5 times larger than Jupiter, it's got to be a star. It has so much mass. That means when it goes through the flyby, Oh, boy. It's going to be real nasty. And we're talking about a pole shift, aren't we?
Yes, we're talking about that, yes.
Well, then, let's do this. Let's come back in our next segment, and let's talk about the pole shift and what that is going to mean for humanity and how Hercules is already perturbing us as the apex species of this planet. All right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
Should I say what I'm thinking now? Should I speak what I'm hearing about? Should I?
Now I'd like to take a brief moment to talk with all of you who are in awareness, because you've had a dream, a vision, a premonition, and now you know what you know. No one's going to talk you out of that. And for those of you who are in a safe place, I am very happy for you. But for those of you who are not in a safe place, now is the time to bust a move. And I use that expression, bust a move, because, frankly, you have to bust up your life a little bit to do it. It's not easy. But once you do it, wow, doors open and magical things happen. And I talk about this in my article, It's Time to Bust a Move. And so don't sit there filled with self-doubts because you have naysayers and cynics and trash talkers telling you that you're some kind of nutter. What you're feeling right now is probably no different than what Noah felt. You know, the story of Noah and the flood? Well, there it is. And if you are living along a coastline, you've really got to bust a move. I know because I was living in Santa Cruz, California. I'm a native son of California as well, and really liked living there. It was a beautiful place, but I knew it was a bone to be chewed, and that is going to happen. And now I have relocated to Reno, Nevada. And one of the things I am doing is offering survival relocation analysis to help those of you who are in awareness to bust a move. And also, I want to give you some moral support. You know, sometimes it's pretty tough with awareness. You feel alone. You feel isolated. And it's not the case. While a small minority of the populace is in awareness, it's a growing and vibrant minority. And so, if you're feeling alone, I want to say to you, brother, sister, you're not alone, and it's time to bust a move. And my mission is to be in service to you, to help you do that. So please, read my article and think about it. And when you're ready to do it, you're ready to bust a move, because the universe has touched you on the shoulder and said, hey, you're one of the chosen few, give me a call, and let's do a survival relocation analysis. I'll save you a lot of time, money, energy, and grief. So get started today by going to YOWUSA.com and reading my article, It's Time to Bust a Move. And then I look forward to talking with you on the phone and helping you to take your first step forward. And with that, let's get back into it with Carles.
Oh, give me something to hold on to. As I venture to the great beyond, and if you gotta say anything at all, let it be something true and beautiful.
Well, Carles, the last two segments have just been mind-blowing, especially the last one. Wow. And we left it on a note that what you guys are seeing is what we're seeing. That this flyby of this object 5 times the size of Jupiter, that's going to come within 14 million kilometers of the Earth, is going to result in a pole shift. Correct?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's correct. That's what those authors said. Yeah, actually.
Give us the rundown on what they saw for the pole shift and how that is going to play out and how severe that pole shift is going to be. Are they seeing it, for example, where as some think, the Earth is going to flip head over heels or stop in its orbit and go again, or as I see it, it's going to be a shift of a few degrees like Edgar Cayce predicted. What is their prediction for the actual pole shift? How is it the causality comes about, and what is going to be the actual pole shift event itself?
Mm-hmm. Saying that the gravitational force of Hercolobus and magnetic force as well are going to disrupt the Earth balance,
Mm-hmm.
and the poles are going to change. The equator is going to become more or less a new pole, so the seabeds are going to change. Most of the Earth is going to sink underwater, and that's gonna wipe out most of humanity. They're saying that clearly. So they're not talking about degrees, exact degrees, because that is quite difficult, I guess, to predict in some way. But the change of poles, it's a fact for them. So before the changing of poles, before the pole shift, the magma inside the Earth is going to be spread out of volcanoes and cracks under the sea. One interesting thing that Master Blue is saying, that the cracks under the sea, cracks on the seabed, are actually heating the oceans, and the oceans are actually changing the climate. So the effects are already here. The effects are gradual. It's not going to happen quickly in some months, but it's a long and painful process.
Mm-hmm.
That's the main thing. It's a long and painful process. So that's stated by Master of Blue very clearly. Earthquakes, tidal waves, and volcanoes all over the world, actually. And the end will be the pole shift, when the Earth is going to be much disrupted. So, and start again. So most of the land under the water, seabeds out of water, and a completely new planet.
Wow. What do they foresee for the planet after the pole shift? At some point the dust has to settle.
Yeah.
What do they see happening when the dust settles?
Okay. After the pole shift, and after everything has been settled, there's going to be a new humanity. A new humanity, but formed in part by people from this civilization and beings from other planets, other civilizations, superior civilizations.
Whoa. Before you go any further, what you're saying is that, and I'm interested to know if Farada believes the same way, the Chilean astronomer, that this flyby is going to be accompanied by significant contact events with extraterrestrial species. Are they going to intervene and try and help save life?
They're going, according to Master Blue and Samuel as well, they're going to intervene to help humanity without interfering much, because universal laws as well must be respected. The process of change of era in our planet is a process that has to be respected, but there's always a chance to help. And that is one of the main points of the book Hercolobus or Red Planet. In order to be able to get that help, we must change. And it's a matter of getting rid of the cause of our wrongdoing, of our ego, in a word, because Master specifies that the ego, how the ego works, and how the ego must be eliminated from us. The ego in us is the inferior vibration, is a bad, is a wrong vibration. It prevents us from awakening, from being aware of what is around us. So the ego must be eliminated, and that's a conscious work. So the author, Rabulu and Samuel as well, they state that if we want to overcome the change of that big change, the pole shifts and all that, the main thing is to change internally. because internal changes provoke external changes as well.
That's right.
It's as if we were going to a different place without moving ourselves from where we are. But we're changing internally. We're getting new circumstances around us and new scenarios. It might be difficult to understand, but it's. I mean, if you practice what the masters explain what Master will explain in The Hollows of a Planet, we can verify that only by eliminating the ego can we change and can we provoke new scenario around us. So the help from alien civilization is going to be given to people who are very honest inside and very willing to change and to awake. That would be the human material to start a new civilization. That was the same that happened in Atlantis.
Okay.
That was depicted. Noah Ark, you say? Noah Ark?
Mm-hmm.
That was, let's say, illustration. It's just the English word just to describe. It wasn't exactly how Noah's Ark story is told, but that's, let's say, a metaphor, how they depict what happened in Atlantis. So that's the main change in our civilization now, is that those who change internally are going to be helped, are going to be saved in order to start again the seed for the new civilization after the pole shift and after the catastrophe.
Well, let me try then and equate what you're saying with what we're seeing here, and to kind of find the same terminology. What I have myself gone through, in this process of busting a move, getting away from the coast, as your three masters are actually saying to do, and I did that.
You did that. That was a clever move. Yeah.
It was clever, but boy, I'll tell you, it's tough. But also, when I did that, when I busted the move, I went through an incredible transformation. Doors started opening for me. Things started happening that just wouldn't normally happen, and started meeting people. It's a very magical experience.
It is.
So on one hand, it's very difficult. On the other hand, it's very fulfilling, and there is this spiritual aspect to it. And for me, I have come to the realization, fear begets fear, love begets love, and you have to follow a loving path and to be in service to others.
That's true.
And that this awareness is really, well, as I have come to see it, and trust me, this is hard. I'm born hard geek before I got to this point. But it's hand of God.
Yeah.
It just feels like God is reaching out and gives you the awareness through dreams, visions, and premonitions.
That's it.
I have talked to more people than I can even recall in the last decade. And all of them are, the ones that have the dreams, visions, and premonitions, they're not jerks. They're not asses.
No, not at all.
They're decent, kind people that are coming. You've done 1 million books out there. When you are talking to people who come into awareness, and you've got this global view, are you seeing the same thing? That the people who come to this, yes, they're the ones that are purely perceptive and deal from a basis of science, all right? But they're very rare. That the folks that are mostly coming to this are salt-of-the-earth people.
Yes.
Are you finding that around the world?
Yeah.
Decent, kind people.
Decent, kind people, nothing out of the common, but people who are very eager to know and who've got a good heart, very good heart, and a deep spiritual yearning. That is what moves us, and in the end, that will be the main reason for a superior alien civilization to help us, because those who have love in their heart will never be left,
For those that are being contacted this way, is this something that is it's from a higher consciousness, God, if you will, Yahweh, whatever we want to call it? Or is there an extraterrestrial hand in this?
I mean, it all comes to the same. I mean, superior intelligence or superior God or whatever, how we want to call it, is in the whole universe. Superior alien civilizations, they've got this energy in them.
Mm-hmm.
They have this superior intelligence, the superior energy in them. They move through that energy. They can have that knowledge, that superior knowledge. And they're helping not only us, they're helping in the whole universe people and beings to be more aware and to get that knowledge. That's the law. That's the universal law. The universal law is to gain awareness everywhere, anywhere in the universe.
So what you're seeing then are these extraterrestrials that are engaged in this and helping are essentially responding to the same thing that those of us coming into awareness are. In other words, they're feeling a hand of God, we're feeling a hand of God, and it's what is drawing them to us, and it is what is drawing us to our future and to their help.
Yeah, exactly. In a different level, if you want, in a different dimension, but it's all the same. It comes to the same. There's only one law in the universe. Different planets, many solar systems, but only one law. The main law is the same for in the whole universe, and that comes to the consciousness or the love and the need to reach that by eliminating what prevents us from reaching that, which is the ego. And that's what I was saying before. I mean, our book is not only informing and warning, but giving the keys to work on ourselves. And the main one is getting rid of the ego, technique called the elimination of the ego. And then as we gain awareness, consciousness, or soul, as you want to call it, there are ways of knowing what's beyond our matter. And that's through astral projection, which is another technique that's also given in that book. So there is a concise message, but very urgent, and that we need to put into practice. And that's why people are responding and giving feedback, because they're practicing and they know that it works. They've been also, some of them, practicing that, working on that, and coming to the same. We're all coming to the same point. I mean, from different angles and from different places and countries and backgrounds, going to the same. So it's the gist, we could say, the essence of our reason of being here in this world.
As the old Roman saying goes, to the heart of a great mystery, many roads lead.
Yeah, that's it. So
all of the roads lead to the heart of that mystery. And with that in mind, as closing up the interview, Carles, there's something in the United States called the Georgia Guidestones. And the Georgia Guidestones essentially is a 10 Commandments, if you will, for the post-historic world, erected by a secret society. And the first of them says, keep the population of the planet below 500 million people. In other words, 1 in 10. But it doesn't say how we get there. So obviously, there is going to be a massive dieback of the human species. We are going to be reduced in numbers dramatically. And if 9 out of 10 people around us are dying, that means death is going to impact each and every one of us at a very profound level. So my final question to you is, will the actual population reduction that comes from this flyby and subsequent pole shift event, is that going to play a factor in an evolutionary step forward for our species?
The reduction of the population is going to be even, according to those authors, is going to be even larger than that.
Oh my gosh, how much larger?
I don't know, but the authors, those authors that was Master Bulu, Samael, they were not talking about figures, about proportions, but saying that it would be very, very large. the reduction, very large. So it seems to me that even smaller, the 1/9.
In other words, there will be maybe 1 in 15 survives.
Maybe, yeah. I mean, to say it's very hard to say. I mean,
Oh my God!
it all comes to what I was saying before. I mean, it's very difficult to talk about figures because we still have the chance to work upon ourselves and to modify the course of events.
Mm-hmm.
That's not a static or deterministic, I don't know if it's correct in English, deterministic process. I mean, if we all were to awake and to work inside us, many things would change. That's the main aspect of the message we are giving worldwide. We need to work upon ourselves, and we are giving the clues in the book called Red Planet.
So you are telling me that the numbers are going to be even more dramatic than 1 in 10 who are going to survive this. And, well, when you stop to think about the number of people who are actually coming into awareness, that's pretty consistent. So my take on it is that the numbers of people that are going to survive is pretty consistent with the number of people who are coming to awareness today. Fair statement?
Yeah, that's right. I mean, the more people are coming to true awareness, I mean, and true work inside,
Mm-hmm.
the more people are going to survive and be able to start again a new civilization, a new society.
Wow. So the universe is giving each and every one of us a chance
It is.
through awareness to survive or not.
Yeah, definitely.
Wow. That's a heavy note. That's a good one to leave it on. Wow. That's a pretty heavy statement. That definitely is hand of God stuff. Well, Carles, this has been fabulous, and I sure hope it doesn't take us another 4 years to get you back on.
I hope not. I
Okay.
hope not.
All right.
Do you think it's interesting? I give the website so people can.
Oh, please go ahead. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so anyone can browse our website and get information from there and request that free book, Hercolobos of Red Planet.
Mm-hmm.
3 main websites. First one is theawakeningconsciousness.com.
Mm-hmm.
It's in several languages. You just have to click on the English flag, just right on the right top.
Right.
And it's about the spiritual awakening.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's another one, hercolobusplanet.com.
Mm-hmm.
That's right in English, direct.
Mm-hmm.
It's got an interesting set of testimonials from all over the world in the line of what we were talking before.
Right.
There's also an interview we got from India.
Mm-hmm.
Also there's more information about Hercolobus. And then another one is thefinalprophecy.info. That's in English.
Mm-hmm.
And that comparison of ancient and modern prophecies, and also with information about the Hercolobus prophecies in ancient times. And anyone who wishes to receive the book, just fill a form and we send it for free.
And I will provide all of those links that you mentioned
Thanks.
on the show page so that people can click in and get right to you. Carles, this has been an incredible interview. Probably my best in years. Thank you so much. Muchas gracias.